And welcome back. Well, this past election night, Suffolk County voters made history by electing the first black sheriff. And he joins us now. He is Dr. Errol Toulon. Congratulations, sir, on your victory. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Richard.
You know, a lot of folks, truthfully, hardly knew who you were, even though you had your supporters. You proved that on election night. It was regarded as an upset victory. Were you yourself surprised at all that you won?
No, I wasn't. I knew I had a groundswell of support from a lot of people from a lot of different areas. Across all political parties, so it wasn't surprising.
Well, tell us about your background for those folks who didn't know a lot about you.
Sure, I've been a resident of Lake Grove for 27 years. I worked for the New York City Department of Correction for 25 years, starting off as a New York City correction officer and completing my career as a Deputy Commissioner of Operations. I was a bat boy for the New York Yankees.
Wow, there's a credential.
For 2 years. I have a doctorate in education and MBA from Dowling College on Long Island. And I'm a big avid hockey fan.
Oh, which team?
Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm a two-time cancer survivor, so wow. When Mario Lemieux had his cancer, it was around the same time I had mine, so I came very close to number 66 in the Penguins.
Wow, that's like a whole bunch of stories there that we could talk about in the time we have. I wanted to get into your philosophy, so, you know, we'll have to have you another time to talk about what you did to survive cancer, because that would be an inspiring story to many people. How does it inform your being the new sheriff in town, the fact that you're a minority and finally broke through the color barrier? Hard to believe 2017 it took that long in New York, but it did. And also having worked in the corrections department, how is that going to inform carrying out your job as the new sheriff?
I think, one, for the community, they can see that anyone can aspire to be anything that they want if they try hard enough and if they work hard enough. I think also it's reflective of the culture of what's going on throughout our country, that, you know, electing an African-American or someone that's not traditionally into the role, you know, shows that people are opening up their eyes and they're looking for my diversity and qualified candidates.
Well, yeah, certainly. I think people will expect that that'll show up in your duties. And I think it also plays into the fact that there's this renewed conversation about how do we handle folks that wind up in jail. All kinds of studies showing that many people wind up there because they simply can't afford bail. Right. What about that issue? So,
you know, for me, two things that I would be looking to work on with the courts and also with the new district attorneys, Tim Sinney, is one, a bail expediter program, so that those that have low bails, we can possibly reach out to family members and friends who can possibly come up with the funds. And then the second thing would be an ankle monitoring program. You know, rather than incarcerate them, they'd be on an ankle monitoring program where they're still with their families, they can still work, contribute to society and their community, and can continue to be close with their families.
Yeah, because some folks will say, oh, that's being soft on crime. But there's a tremendous cost to putting someone in jail, right? What is the average cost for a person in jail?
Well, in New York City, I know it's about $270 a day. And so if we have an ankle monitoring program, you know, for low-level offenders who have low bails, that would be a better opportunity and alternative.
Well, it is kind of shocking when you see the statistics of people who simply don't have the money to make bail, that people with a job would normally get out of jail, wouldn't have to go to jail. Right. So it doesn't seem like the best solution to just put somebody in jail because they can't afford the money.
You know, they're disconnected from their families. They start to enter a culture that you know, it's very scary. You know, it's scary to have a bar, you know, closed behind you, being asked when you can go to meal, when you can watch TV, when you can go visit a loved one. So that's a scary opportunity.
Yet on the other hand, you want to be tough on gangs. So if somebody is committing violent crimes or bad characters, bad actors, you're looking to close those bars on them, right?
Right. Those violent offenders will definitely remain in our custody, and we will keep custody of them. We're looking to work with the local law enforcement agencies in Suffolk County to ensure that we can actually give the intelligence, by gathering intelligence in our correctional setting, to our law enforcement partners to get those bad guys off the street.
Are you satisfied with the approach that's going forward, civil libertarians saying that people are just being rounded up?
No, I don't believe...
Particularly with MS-13, I mean. Right.
Yeah. You know, I haven't looked at what the police departments are doing, and so when they come into our custody, they have already seen a judge. And once they're incarcerated, we're looking at them not only to gather intelligence, but also you know, make sure that those violent offenders remain in our custody.
Okay, what about the fact that we have a large number of minorities who are in jail in the first place, and there's a nationwide debate about this, that people of color are pulled over to begin with, first of all, that they're treated more harshly by the criminal justice system. Where do you come down on that?
Well, we're not the police department,
Right.
so
But they wind up in your facility.
right, they wind up in our facility. So my goal is that once they're in our custody, to make sure that they're treated fairly, with respect and dignity, and then also once they leave our custody, that they know what resources are in their various communities. Because we talk about Montauk to Amityville, where are they going back to? So for mental health needs, healthcare needs, jobs, educational opportunities, we want to make sure that those that want to help themselves are connected with those resources in the various communities.
Yeah, because, you know, it's implicit in the name of your department, the corrections department, right?
Correct.
Is that you're supposed to be correcting people. This is a century-old idea of rehabilitation. How do you move that forward?
Well, I think, you know, one of the things, my dad was a warden on Rikers Island for 36 years, and I remember asking him as a young boy, what did he do for a living? And he said, we rehabilitated those. The only unfortunate thing and troubling thing is that with the jail, the average stay is between 60 to 90 days. So there's not much of a transition you can make in someone's life. So it's really getting them on board so that when they leave our custody, that they're able to help themselves.
Now, there's been a debate in past years about the jail that you're going to be running. It was a brand new jail, and at one point the state wanted us to build even a bigger or more jail space, and the county executive said, hey, we can't afford it, we don't need it. Is the jail too big or too small? Where do you stand on that?
No, I think at this moment, from what I've seen, and I visit both the jails in Yaphank and Riverhead, that we have adequate space. We're looking for alternatives to incarceration, which will be creating an advisory group, not only for alternatives, but also for reentry.
Well, you also have to deal with the issue of highway patrol. Anything going to change there?
No, the Suffolk County Police Department monitors the highway. That's by the county executive's edict, so we'll continue to do what we do best.
Well, and what part will the sheriffs be patrolling?
Well, the deputy sheriffs will be patrolling the East End, and we have various task forces that they're in, monitoring DWIs, especially during this holiday season.
Well, you've got a lot on your plate. The new sheriff in town, Suffolk County Sheriff Dr. Errol Toulon. Thanks for stopping in and talking with us today. And it begins next month. All right, thank you, sir. And when we return, we'll have the very latest on the discounts that are being prepared for holiday shoppers in one town. Stay with us.